one of the greatest mysteries in the world to a woman is a bachelor. Mr. Belzer of Belzer's Woman's Companion magazine is a bachelor, and a very attractive one, to say the least.
One, Mr. Belzer.
Now, Paul, about this mink for the four-coat spread, are you sure it shouldn't have been sable?
Use your own judgment, Steve. That's why I hired you. But just remember, all our clients don't live on Park Avenue. Now, go on, get out of here, both of you. I'm busy.
Well, maybe they don't all live on Park Avenue.
Yes, Sylvia.
Your 4 o'clock appointment is here.
Fine, Sylvia. Show him in.
But, Mr. Belzer, you don't understand.
Don't keep
you
the man
see.
waiting, Sylvia. Show him in. I'll be with you in a moment, Mr. Massey.
It's Mrs.
Oh. Well, come in, please.
Thank you.
Strange. I could have sworn this was written by a man. It's got strength.
Oh, thank you.
By Chris Massey.
Well, it's Christine, really.
Oh, well, sit down, Miss Massey.
Thank you. It's Mrs. Massey.
Mrs. Christine Massey.
Yes.
Now have I got that straight.
Yes, that's right.
Well, I like it. I like it very much.
Good.
But I'm not sure that our readers will. You see, primarily, this is a woman's magazine.
Oh, yes, I know. But I've always been under the impression that women like mystery stories. Certainly many of them were written by women. I mean, Agatha Christie, Mary Roberts Reinhardt, Josephine Tay, and...
Well, that's true, but I kind of thought this...
Frankly, Mr. Belzer, that's one of the things that gave me the courage to try my hand at it.
Paul, I've got to get an answer on this right away.
You already have my answer. No.
Okay. I'm sorry.
This your first effort, Mrs. Massey?
Yes, at a mystery novel. But
Sorry to barge in on you again, Paul. But is this the correct shade?
No, it isn't. Let's see. There. The color of Mrs. Massey's jacket.
What exact color would you call that, Mrs. Massey?
It's green and gray.
Green and gray.
Green and gray. Thanks a bunch.
You were saying, Mrs. Massey?
Well, I was saying that I also wrote some articles in collaboration with my husband when he was alive.
Well, that's interesting. Were they published?
Oh, yes, most of them, that is. Some of them, some of the best, in my opinion, were rejected, though.
Why?
Well, they were hard-hitting. And it seems that many editors are afraid of the truth.
Well, I'm not, and I'd like to see them.
Thank you. I'd like to show them to you.
Your eyes are exactly the same color, gray-green. Sylvia, tell Stephanie gray-green positively. Gray-green.
Excuse me, Mr. Belzer, but I am here to sell you my story.
I like honest people.
Yes, so do I. But do you like my story?
Yes, the motivation is excellent. The progression is fine.
Yes.
But about the characters.
Paul, Sylvia said I wasn't to interrupt you, but you simply must okay these pictures. Illustrations for that article, The Alchemy of Perfume.
Leave them.
But I'll have to explain them to you.
Not now.
All right. But the first thing in the morning.
And an open-door policy around here.
Beg your pardon?
Where were we?
The characters.
Yes, the characters. Now, the characters are well drawn.
Yes.
Believable, most of them.
Then that means that there's some that you do not like. Is that right?
Well, only one, really.
Oh, well...
What now, Sylvia?
I'm sorry, Mr. Belzer, but Dr. Sharp is on the phone. He'd like to talk with you about that article he's doing for us on psychiatry.
Tell him I'm tied up and ask him to call me in the morning. I'm sorry. This just happens to be one of those days.
Yes, I understand.
Let's get out of here and see if we can't find some quiet madhouse where we can hear ourselves think, huh?
Mr. Belzer,
Oh, you had other plans?
well, I did hope to make the 6:05.
Well, do you live out of town?
Yes, in Connecticut.
Couldn't you take a later train? I would like to discuss this further.
Oh, well, in that case, yes. I will take a later train.
Good. Shall we go?
Yes, thank you.
I have had it for the day, Sylvia. The only way I can get any work done around here is not be here.
I'm sorry, Mr. Belzer.
It's not your fault. I'll see you in the morning. I know just the spot. A couple blocks down the street, and I go there all the time. We can talk while we...
Fine. I think I'll have escargot and onion soup and filet mignon and roquefort cheese on the salad, please.
And for me, my usual, Henry.
Yes, sir. Melba toast and boiled chicken.
Unfortunately, I'm not allowed to eat after the fashion of mankind. Oh, it's nothing really, just a small friendly ulcer.
Oh, so sorry. That's...
I must be making a terrible impression. Complete crock.
No, on the contrary, everything considered it. I think you're a fine figure of a man. Now, about the characters, which one is it that you don't like?
Oh, yes. Well, it's that 10-year-old girl.
Peggy, you don't like her?
Well, Mrs. Massey, you must remember that many of our readers are mothers.
Yes.
Now, do you expect them to believe that a 10-year-old girl would do and say the things she does in your story?
Yes, as a matter of fact, I do.
Mrs. Massey, you don't have a 10-year-old girl, do you?
No, to be truthful, I don't.
I know it.
Mr. Belzer, you're a bachelor, aren't you?
Well, yes, to be truthful, I am.
Yes, I knew that, too.
Oh, I used to think about marriage. I used to think about it a lot. But that was before I wound up with this magazine. It was a long time ago, before I got out of the Navy.
Well, there certainly seem to be many beautiful women around your office, all glamorous and stimulating.
Yes. You know, I sometimes get the feeling if they'd take that makeup off, they'd be invisible. See right through them.
That's not a very nice thing to say.
Manhattan for the lady.
Thank you.
Scotch and milk for you, Mr. Belzer.
All right, you fixed the ending, and I think that should do it.
Then that's it?
You make those revisions, and you've made a sale.
Oh, that's wonderful. That's just absolutely wonderful. Thank you.
When will you be back in town? Next week?
Well, I'm not sure. My daughter's coming in from college, and I never know what she has planned.
You have a daughter in college?
Mm-hmm. In her first year. Thank you very much for that flattering look of astonishment. Marnie's 18.
Oh, that's a wonderful age. Leaves you comparatively free for your work.
Yes, comparatively so.
Won't you be able to get away next week at all?
Well, I could, but I won't have time to make these revisions by then.
Oh, well, I'm not speaking in my editorial capacity now.
Oh. In that case, I'd love to. What about Thursday?
Fine.
Fine, I'll see you then.
Right.
Bye.
Anyway, believe it or not, I've always lived a quiet kind of life.
Quiet?
Well, with the exception of that magazine and the war, of course.
Oh.
Oh, this is ridiculous. When I'm with you, I find myself babbling on and on and on. Mm-hmm. Even my allergies disappear.
Mm-hmm. You know that you make me feel positively therapeutic. What are you allergic to?
Oh, lots of things.
For instance?
Women, mostly.
Oh, come now.
Oh, it's true.
No.
I remember in my callow youth, whenever I took a girl out, well, there was always something I was allergic to. Either the wool in her dress, or the dye on the scarf, or her furs. I kissed a girl once and immediately broke out into hives.
Oh,
I was allergic to her brand of lipstick.
I don't believe it.
Word of honor. Do you know everything about you suits me? Even your brand of lipstick, I suspect. In fact, I might as well find out right now.
In a public restaurant?
Why not?
No hives.
No hives. But I do have the oddest sensation. It's almost like falling in love.
melody that goes with that, you know.
No, seriously.
Seriously, it's the nicest thing I've heard in a long time.
Well, if I'm not being too personal, didn't you get any kind of a feeling?
I've already told you, Paul. I think you're a fine figure of a man. And,
Well, it's not late.
Yes, it is. I think
You
I've
haven't had dessert yet.
Train. Well, I can skip it tonight, okay?
Something the matter?
No, nothing.
Has the lady made up her mind?
Yes, thank you. I don't care for anything.
Very well.
When will you be back in town? Tomorrow? The next day?
I'm not sure. I really am not sure.
Well, you'll want to okay the layout on the first installment, won't you?
Well, now, you're the boss. You okay it, shall we?
Next week?
I'm not sure. Really, I'm not, Paul.
Henry, put it on the tab.
Yeah.
But it's been almost 3 weeks. As a matter of fact, it'll be 3 weeks tomorrow.
Well, I know it, but I've been busy, Paul. You know, things around the house.
Now, look here, woman. Along with everything else, I now have insomnia.
Oh,
Look, since you can't or won't come into New York, I'm coming up to Connecticut.
You're what?
I've canceled my editorial meeting for this afternoon, and I'm coming up to see you. Now, what about train schedules? Which one is best?
Look, Paul, I think maybe I will be able to get into New York after all.
When? Tonight?
All right.
Dinner?
All right.
Same place?
Yes, the same place. About 7.
Fine. The minute I walked in here and saw you, my headache disappeared.
Well, I'm very glad for that.
You know, I've been miserable. What kept you away so long?
Oh, things came up. Family things.
Oh, is your daughter back from college?
Paul, why don't you relax for a minute? Yeah. Paul, you know, Marnie's not my only child.
She isn't?
No.
I don't remember you mentioning any other children.
No, I didn't. And, well, I'm afraid I didn't on purpose. Because, well, I discovered that there are certain circumstances that make one want to forget one's family, and particularly when one's family is as large as mine is. I have 7 children, Paul.
7?
Yes.
Are you sure?
Oh, yes. Yes, I'm sure. Well, there's Marnie. You know about her. She's 18. And then the twins are 17. And Beatrice, that's Binky. We call her Binky. She's 16. And then Vicky is 15. And Judy is 13. And then the youngest, Maria, is 6. I know now that it was foolish of me not to tell you before, but I don't know. I got so used to being just Mom to everybody that I'd forgotten how pleasant it is to be thought of as a woman. Just a woman to fall in love with, perhaps. Just exactly what you're thinking. I had no right to let you fall in love with me under the circumstances, am I right? Paul?
Well, to be perfectly honest with you,
Yes.
the idea of you with 7 children is a little staggering.
I thought that's how you'd react. Well, anyway, You've been very sweet, Paul, and I've loved every minute of seeing you, but I don't think we ought to see each other anymore.
Not seeing each other anymore. Christine, I'm crazy about you.
Oh, and I'm crazy about you, too. But, Paul, you've just no idea what my household is like. I mean, they're all such strong personalities, you know. Each one of them individually, and all the little problems keep coming up. I mean, Vicky has no social life, and Judy has too much, and the twins, good heavens, I never know what's going on with them. I mean, for all I know, they might be splitting an atom down in that basement. And now Monty's talking about quitting college because she thinks she's in love, and I just don't think that any man could be asked to take all that on. And you, why, darling, we'd drive you crazy in a week. You just hate it. And I couldn't bear the thought of your growing to hate my children.
Now you're talking too much.
But...
In the first place, I couldn't hate anything that belongs to you.
Oh.
In the second place, one can get adjusted to anything. In the third place, don't forget I was in the Navy for 4 years.
Well, this could be worse than the Navy.
Well, anyway, that's not the point. I love you. I don't think I can live without you.
Thank you. But could you live with my children? Well, I guess the sooner we find out, the better, huh? How would you like to spend the weekend in the country?
I'll drink to that. That's right.
I am sorry I'm late. Well, no, it's not heavy. You see, Mother tried to get away, but she was trapped. So Judy's dress has got to be fit, and this is the only time that Mrs. Perkins has squeezed Judy in for a fitting.
I see you found each other.
You bet. Hey, where did these go? In the twins' room?
Yes, darling. Well, welcome.
I thought I'd never met you.
Oh, well, she is kind of reckless, but she's safe, really. Come on in and meet the rest.
I'm not putting the twins out of their room.
Oh, yes, but don't worry about them. They have sleeping bags in the basement. You know, if I've let them, they sleep down there every single night. It's their private sanctuary. Oh, darling. Oh, for heaven's sake, I hope you're not allergic to dogs.
Oh, that's all right. I've got a pill for that, too.
Well, I'm awfully glad. It's just that he thinks people are the greatest, that's all. Maria, dear, this is Mr. Belzer.
How do you do, Mr. Belzer?
Maria?
Mm-hmm. Oh, boys, this is Mr. Belzer, Peter and Paul. Oh, I'm sorry, I mean Dirk and Dak.
How do you
Dak?
do, Mr. Belzer? No, I'm Dirk. This is Dak. Dak has a mole right there. If that,
Oh,
that'll do.
Dirk. Well, I hope we have that straightened out.
Oh, and this is Judy, Mr. Belzer.
How do you do, Mr.
Judy,
Belzer?
glad to
And
meet you.
Vinky, you know.
Yes.
And this is Marnie. This is Mr. Belzer, dear.
Very happy to meet you.
How do you do, Mr. Belzer?
Vicky, come on, honey. This is our fledgling writer. This is Mr. Belzer, dear.
Vicky?
How do you do? Excuse me, Mr. Belzer. I was just doing the dishes. I'll see you later.
Excuse us, Mr. Belzer. We got an experiment going.
Oh?
In our lab in the basement.
Oh, got a
Excuse
lab,
me.
huh?
Yeah.
Excuse me, Mr. Belzer. I was just fixing the twins' room up for you.
Sure.
Oh, come on, Vicky. I need a hand.
Okay, excuse us, Mr. Belzer. Excuse me, Mr. Belzer.
I've got to feed Heathcliff. Excuse me, Mr. Belzer. Come on.
They're charming. All 7 of them.
Thank you. Of course, they're giving you the VIP treatment, you know. I've already told them you're my, quote, editor, unquote. I've got a little chore of my own that I want to do, so will you just relax and make yourself comfortable? I'll only be a minute. Hmm? How does this idea appeal to you?
Whoa, a little early.
Well, not for the milk, anyway. Sit down. Why don't you take a hand at that? You know, there seems to be a piece missing. There you are. Nobody can find the right one.
Hello?
I tried that one.
Yes,
Don't bother with it.
Sure. I
There,
knew it.
that
What's
one
the
is good.
concern? Hey, Dirk, Dak, the goods are here. Rehearsal time.
Dirk and Dak, you know, last week it was flip and flap. Heaven knows what it'll be next week. But I'm glad they're rehearsing today because I want you to hear them. They're the singers in the little band of the neighborhood here. They're good, too. Will you hear them? Oh, this is a good idea.
Tell me you were having a party for the children today.
Oh, Paul, this is no party. This is just the normal Friday afternoon. God help the man who is searching for the perfect wife. And God help him even more if he finds her. Good night. And we'll see you next week.